Alright, so this is how you set up your Fire TV stick or your Fire TV. They're both pretty much the same in terms of setup. You gotta bear with me because I have one hand holding the camera. But when you get your Fire TV, this is what you get. You see the Fire TV. Batteries for your remote, the plug to plug it in, the remote itself, and your plug to connect the plug to your Fire TV. I'm just going to take the remote out of the plastic case. You can see how to open the back of the remote. You can see where the batteries go. You can see how to close it. Let's see. And the back, you can see with the wire that connects to the plug to the Fire Stick, you can see that there's a USB side that connects to the plug. You take the USB and connect it to the plug. Just like that, and make sure it goes in all the way. Let's see. And with your Fire TV, you get this plastic. You take the plastic off. And you can see on the corner, there's a little spot for you to plug in the micro USB. And just want to make sure that goes all the way in. And you're ready to start. So take the USB and connect it to your HDMI. Sorry, take the HDMI, connect it to the HDMI connection in your TV. Then you get your plug. Plug it in to an outlet. And you'll see that everything will start up. If it doesn't start up, you have to use your remote control for your TV. Go to input and go to the input that the Fire TV stick or the Fire TV is set to. And in my case, it was HDMI 1. So click on it and it'll show you the Fire TV. And once it starts, it's going to ask you in different languages to press the play button on your remote to pair the remote to your Fire TV or Fire TV stick. So you press the play, it pairs it. You can choose your language. I'm going to choose English. Then it's going to search for the different internet connections that are available. I'll pick mine, and then you have to go and put in the Wi-Fi password for your home, for your router. This is obviously not going to be the same as mine. hit connect. And it's going to go through this prompt. And if you put in the password correctly, it'll say connection successful. It's going to automatically register you to the if you bought your Fire TV off of Amazon, it's going to become already loaded with your Amazon account. So for me, I'm going to click yes. It's going to ask you to save password. You can click yes or no. Normally you'd click yes. If I'm giving this to somebody else, I'm going to click no. Parental controls. If you do enable parental controls, what it does is it prevents anybody from auto purchasing any content from the Amazon. It doesn't matter to me, so no parental controls.
Welcome to your new
You can fast forward through all this by clicking forward on the scroll. I'm going to say no thanks here. And now you have your Fire TV set up from Amazon. You want to use your remote, and your remote buttons are as follows. This is the circular cursor pad. You can go left, right, up, down, and the center button is for OK. This is a button that instructs you to go back. This is your home button. Looks like a house. There's a button here with, let's focus if we can, with 3 lines. That's the menu button. Double arrow backwards is the reverse. And you have your play and pause, and you have your go, and you have your forward or fast forward. And on top you have the Alexa voice control. So let's see if we can see this. I'm going to use the right to go on the menu all the way to settings, and you want to go to display and sounds. Click on screensaver. Here you can choose to enable the screensaver, disable the screensaver. I like to keep it, and I like to keep the display info on. What it does is it tells you where the picture was taken. Next is display. It'll show you the first option is video resolution. You can leave it up to whatever you want to leave it up to. You can change it to the settings of your TV or just leave it on auto. Color depth, I like to go to up to 12 bits. More color the better, I guess. Audio, navigation sounds. This is the ticking sound, so it's off right now. Putting it on, you can hear that sound. The second screen notifications, I turn it off. HDMI CEC allows certain TVs to control your HDMI port. So if you turn on your Fire TV or Fire Stick, the TV will turn on, and vice versa. I don't think it works with my TV, but it's okay. I'll leave that setting on anyways. Applications, controllers, and Bluetooth device, Alexa, and preferences. You want to go to preferences. Again, there's parental controls, data monitoring. I always make sure that data monitoring is off. Notification settings, app notifications, featured content. You can see the featured content is on by default. That's basically this setting here. When you go, you can see the video starts to play. You can hear some audio. I don't like that, so I take it off, go back to preferences, featured content, and I just turn both of them off. Location, you can set up time zone. You can set up, let's see, device, go to developer options. This is important. Change ADB debugging to on. Change apps from unknown sources to on, it'll give you this little message saying that if you download apps from unknown sources that are unknown to Amazon, there's a risk of potentially messing up the Fire TV, but for our purposes we want that because we want the apps from unknown sources. Then there's accessibility, which closed caption, high contrast, screen map, I don't mess with that. So basically on the settings, display and sound is important because you can change the screensaver, you can change the display. If you go to display, it'll give you the video resolution, color depth, and the format of the color. More importantly, it'll allow you to calibrate the display so you can have all the picture come optimally into your TV. You can see that all the tips of the arrows are on the border of my TV. That's what you want. Let's see. All right, so we optimized we opened up the Fire TV, we connected it to the TV, we optimized the Fire TV so we can start to download stuff, install things, and use the Fire TV the way we want. So go to search, and the first thing we're going to do is install something called Downloader. So type in Downloader, and once you type in enough letters, you should be able to see it from the drop down menu. Downloader right there. And then the Fire TV or Fire Stick will search Downloader, and it'll give you all these search results. We want to go to Apps and Games, Downloader, and then click on Download, and it should install it and download it. This is the first time you're using the app, so it's gonna say, "Oh, you got an app. Congratulations." Click on Got it. You can just click the center button, Got it. It'll make that screen go away, and then you'll see where you click to install the app. It'll give you a play option, so you can open it. Just press the center button and open it. And then it's going to ask you specific information about the app you just downloaded. It's going to ask you if downloader can access photos, media, and files on your device. You can go ahead and allow this. It's going to give you a quick start guide. Click OK. And then this is pretty much the app. This app here, Downloader, allows you to use your Amazon Fire TV or Fire Stick to connect to the internet, so you can download different apps that you want or visit different web pages. So you can just kind of browse the internet with this if you want. We're going to use it to download some apps. So the first app that I'm going to download is actually a video player. And you can just go ahead and type into the screen mxplayer. Download. .co. And this will be in the description of the video. I don't know if you can see that clearly. You can see it says previous and go. We want to click on go. And it's going to give you this pop-up saying that JavaScript is disabled. Just click on OK, click the center button, and it'll give you it'll take that video, it'll take that description box away, and it'll guide you to mxplayerdownload.co website. You can scroll down, and what we're going to do, I'm going to click on where it says download mxplayer. And it's going to bring you to another web page. You want to scroll down, and you want to get the latest version. Usually the latest version is right here, the first blue circular link that's there. You can click it. If you're watching this video later, it's going to be a different version, I'm sure. Then you just wait for the download. And what this is like a video player. So when you use a link to watch a TV show, a movie, or live TV, it will allow you to watch that within this player. So we wait and we wait. So now this is the screen that you get on once. So what happened was we clicked on the link to download the file. That file was downloaded to your Fire TV or Fire Stick, and then it started, and then it automatically runs. And when it runs, it's asking you, "Hey, you downloaded this file. It wants to install something. Do you want to install it?" So you can see here that the gray is already set on cancel. So we want to take our remote and move it over one, so the gray box is on install, and click on the center button of the remote. So then it'll install it. It'll give you this message, "Hey, the app is installed. Do you want to launch it now?" I don't really want to launch it now, so this is the other so once that little thing will come on and it'll disappear by itself. You can see now you have two options, done and open, and you can just use the center button, this scroll option on your remote, to move back and forth. I'm going to highlight done and click on done. Now that downloader app has given you a dialog box that says you downloaded the install file. Do you want to keep the install file, or do you want to delete the install file? And you don't need to keep the install file because we already installed the file. We installed the program. So at this point it's extra, so you can delete this, and it's going to ask you again, do you really want to delete the install file? And like I said, we don't need the install file, so you can go ahead and delete it. Now you've installed the actual mxplayer, but you need to get one more thing to have the player run the right way, and that's basically the codec. So what you want to do is you want to hit the back button and go back one web page to the original web page that we loaded the first time. And every time those dialog boxes will come up and they'll just turn off. That's not a big deal. So now you got to get the codec. So you click on the codec here, and you're scrolling down, and the codec that you want for Fire TV Stick or Fire TV is called the Neon codec, and you want the ARM version 7 of it. So that's going to be this first one that comes in this custom codec APK file. So basically, when you look, the version can be different. It might be 2.0 later, but basically where it says ARM v7 Neon codec, that's the one that you want. So you click on that, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to download the install file, and then it's going to ask you if you want to install it. So here, do you want to install it? We click over to gray out the install selection, click install, and it's going to install. It's going to give you another pop-up window saying, do you want to launch this thing right now? Just going to wait till that dialog disappears. You get the two same options, done and open. And I don't want to open it, just keep it done for now. And then it's going to give you the same thing that we went through before, where it's downloaded the install file. Do you want to delete this extra file that it installed? And yes, we do want to delete the extra file that we installed. And then do you really want to do it? Yes. Now we can move on to the actual apps. So go back, and all I'm doing is scrolling up and down with this with the rotational thing here, and I'm just going to hit clear, we're going to type in here terrarium TV, just like that, .com. And hit go. And now you see the website popped up for Terrarium TV, and the link is right here. And it's going to download the install file. It's going to ask you, do you want to install this file? Move and highlight where it says install, and click on the center button of your directional pad on your remote. And it's going to install it. Install it. And then it's going to give you that pop-up window. You can wait till that disappears, and then you can hit done. And now it's going to ask you the same thing. Do you want to keep the install file that you downloaded, or do you want to delete it? We don't really need it. We don't need it to take up any space, so we're just going to delete it. It's going to, do you really want to delete that install file? Yes. And now, since this is the first app that we downloaded, I'm going to show you how to use it. I want you to click on the home button. And what that's going to do is bring you back to the home screen. By clicking down, it gives you to the first selection, which is recent, basically the recent apps that you've used. You go down one more, it'll show you your apps and games. And these are everything. This is everything that we've installed. We installed the mxplayer, then we installed the codec, and then we installed Terrarium TV. Now, it's a little bit of pain to keep moving all the way to the end to just to click on the thing that you installed last. So what you can do is you can hold down the home button. It's going to show you this screen, and here it's going to show you apps. Put the Fire TV stick or Fire TV to sleep, or go directly to the settings. We want to go to apps. So now when you go on apps, you can see the different apps that you've downloaded, and this is the order that you see. This is the order that you see everything in when you're on your home screen. So we want this app here, the one that we just installed, to be in the front. So you highlight the app, you just put your cursor over it, and the center button on your remote, you just hold it down, and it's gonna give you this dialog. Press select to drop the app where you want. So now we can go up, down, left, right. We can move this app where we want to. I want to move it to the front. So when it's in the location that I want, I just tap on the center button again, and it drops the app to the front. So now, if I hit the home button, you can see that the app that we just installed is now moved to the front of your apps and games selection. So now we can click the center button to turn on and load that app. It's going to give you this dialog here. Do you want to allow Terrarium TV to access this device's location? It doesn't really matter. And then do you want to allow it to access your contacts? The Fire TV or Fire TV stick doesn't have any contacts within it, so I don't care. I can hit allow. It's going to say, do you want it to access phone, media, and files on your device? And you can say allow if you want to. This is a advanced feature, I guess, if you want to download anything. I hit allow. I don't usually download anything. It's going to ask you the same questions. I allow everything. And then here it says choose your default video player. We installed mxplayer, so we want to use that one. And it's going to give you this change log of basically the new things that have been installed or updated since the last update. That's fine. We can hit OK. And then it's going to give you a disclaimer. It's basically saying you're accepting the privacy policy, and if there is any copyright infringement, that the app itself is not responsible, doesn't hold any of the content. So if you do feel like there's a content violation or a copyright infringement, contact the links they use to tell them that they're infringing on copyright protected content. So click on accept, and here you can see this is the app. And what we want to do is we want to immediately use the left direction of the scroll. On the left, you want to use the left button on the directional pad on your remote to go to those 3 lines. If you remember before, I told you the 3 lines on the remote are basically for a menu. So the app developers have used that same thing and have made within their app 3 lines to mean menu. So click on the menu, and we want to go to settings. So in the settings, you can choose your default video player, which we did, mxplayer. And you can play around with all these settings if you want, but there's certain settings that I think are very important to change right away. Let's see. And what I usually do is I go all the way down to where it says choose default TV show category and change that to favorites. And I think that's it. There's a lot of different options to choose from, but those are the only 2 things I do. I make sure that mxplayer is selected all the way up here, MX video player, and I change the default TV show category to favorites. And now just hit the back button, and you can hit the back button once again, and then you can see here it says once you hit that, hit back again to exit. So exit, and then when you start the app again by hitting the center pad and the directional button, you can see it goes straight to your favorites. So now there's 2 sections within this app. If you go to the menu by moving your cursor to the left, and you can see wherever your cursor is, it highlights in blue. So if you go to the left, you can go to menu, and you can see there's 2 options here. First option is for TV show. Second option is for movies. So if you go within the menu, you can choose movies, or you can choose TV shows. Now, when you choose TV shows, there's a different drop-down menu, and you can see right now we're highlighted on the down arrow. So click on that, click the center button on your remote, and it brings up multiple menus. You can see favorites, trending, recently updated, and you can play around with this, see all the different things that are available through this app. And so, for example, there's the Amazon list that shows all the Amazon videos. And one of the good things about this app, let's go to trending. One of the good things about this app is you can set each individual show as your favorite. So in order to set it as a favorite, use the directional pad on your remote and click right. So the highlighted area goes to the star, and then select star, and you can see the star gets filled in. That means that you've selected this show as a favorite. So let's do a couple different ones. Select that as a favorite. Now, as you see, if I exit, go back into the app, my favorite shows, the ones that I've selected, are automatically brought to the front. Now, the way to use this is you highlight the show that you want to watch, and then it brings up all the different seasons, and you can click on whichever season you want to watch and hit the center button on the directional pad. This is the first time that we're using this app, so it's going to show you this dialog screen where it basically tells you or instructs you, press the play button in order to play whichever episode you want to play. So the don't show this again is already highlighted. I'm going to click the center button on the remote to select OK. And you can see now there's different episodes for the season, and that were currently highlighted on the drop down menu here. So you want to move down and you can see where it's highlighting different episodes within the season. Let's look at 6 and then click that center button. Let's see, I don't think you can see that. Center button on your directional pad on the remote, and it brings that episode up. And then what you do is that play button right here. You press the play button and it automatically searches, and it's just going to tell you here, switch the video. It's another since we're running this for the first time, it's another dialogue or instructional pop-up that says you can watch the video with a different player if you want. I'm already set on the player that I'm using, so I'm going to hit the select button to get rid of that dialog box. Now you can see that there's a whole different list of different links and different providers that have shown up on the app, that basically these are different computers or servers around the world that have the video that you want to watch, and that will allow you to stream it or watch it from your TV. So the top one is always going to be the highest quality one or the largest file size for you to watch. And as you go down or scroll down, you can see it gets to the smaller file sizes. So if you have a bad internet connection or it's not that great, you can go all the way to the bottom and find one that's of a lower quality. Once you hit the select button, it'll bring up this new dialog that shows you, that asks you if you want to play with subtitles, download, or copy the link. If you click on play, we're going to click on play. I'm going to go back for a second. So this video here is 64 megabytes. I'm going to click on play, and it should load the video. It's going to ask me again. Those dialog boxes, after the first couple uses of the app, they disappear. And so let's see if this works. And it looks like this link is not going to work. Then again, this is the link that had the lowest file size. So what happens is when you change videos or you move between different content, it will give you a small advertisement. All you have to do is hit the back button. This back button. It'll remove the advertisement and get you back to where you were previously. Now for example, if we click on the highest file size video, click on play, and depending on the server or the link that you choose, it will, it should be pretty fast in terms of downloading, depending on your internet speed. While the video is playing, you can use the directional pad here to move forward. So you can move forward, you can pause, you can play. If you use the menu button, let's see if I can focus this. If you use the menu button on your remote, it'll bring up this dialog here where you can change the speed, and different options within. This is the mxplayer that we downloaded previously, so it'll show you different options of what you can do. You can zoom, you can change the aspect ratio, and different things. I usually don't play around with this. Basically, it works fine without having to manipulate it or change it in any way. So I keep all the settings the same for it. So now, and then again, if you want to, for some reason, if you want to remove a TV show from your favorites, it's the same thing. Just move your cursor and highlight the star, click on the star, it removes it. Same thing, select whichever show it is, click on the star, it removes it, and you can refresh by changing to a different section. So you can see it's no longer there. Same thing with and the same pretty much goes with the movies as well. If you click on movies, you can see different movies. Let's see. So, and for certain movies, you're going to, okay, get rid of the dialogue here. For certain movies, you're going to want to watch it with closed caption, because there are either animals that are talking, or for example, there's somebody who's using sign language or even a different language, alien language, or whatever language. So you want to have subtitles to be able to read that. So it's the same thing. If you highlight a movie that you want to watch, to play it, just hit the, oh my gosh, just hit the play button, and it'll bring up the list of different links. This is just my autofocus, it's not working. You can click on the link, it'll bring this dialog box up, and you can click play with subtitles. Now it's going to search for subtitles, and if you are searching for subtitles and you don't see any subtitles, there you can see that there's a subtitle drop down menu here, and it shows four different websites that host subtitles. So you can see there's all these different subtitles here, and you just want to make sure that the subtitles that you get are in the language that you want. So if we go to the first, open subtitles is usually good. And you can see that there's a difference in the different kinds of subtitles that are available. For example, here's one that's a 720p Blu-ray rip. Here's another one from the top that is TS, which means telesynced, or somebody was using a camcorder in the theater and watching it. And you can click on it, it'll download the subtitle, and it'll integrate the subtitle with the video because we're using mxplayer, and it'll allow you to watch the video with subtitles. I'm going to try to fast forward to it so we get to a spot where somebody's talking so we can see. And you can see that the subtitles sometimes are most of the times they should be in sync with the video. If they are not, click on the menu button. You can click on subtitle. You can go down to synchronization, and you want to highlight either the plus or the minus, and you can change how fast the subtitle, the spot of the subtitle in relation to the video. So if you see that somebody says hello and 5 seconds later the words hello pop up, then you can change the subtitles to be minus 5 seconds to sort of sync with the rest of the video. Okay. And you can even go and select it and change to the exact second. I don't know what use is this unless you already know that the subtitle is off by 5 seconds. so I'm going to exit this. It's going to show me another advertisement. I'm going to exit out of the advertisement and just back all the way through all of these. And that's how Terrarium TV works. It's fairly straightforward. The more you use it, the more you play around with it, the easier it gets. And one of the other options here is, let's see, airing today. So it shows you all the TV shows that are airing today. So for example, today's Monday, so all these TV shows came out today or are coming out today. And usually you should be able to see the same TV shows the same day that they're out on TV. So that was the first app. And now we're gonna try to download some more apps. So go back. So what I want you to do is I want you to go back into Downloader and move your cursor by using the directional pad on the remote to the top and highlight where the URL is so you can get back to the URL. Clear the URL and type in mobdro .to, just like that, and hit go. It's going to load up the mobdro website, and right here in the first link here, download the app. Make sure you just highlight where it is red, click on that, and it should download the install file. And show you the install page. Do you want to install it? And one thing to note is when you download an app, you want to make sure of the name that you're of the app that you're downloading. And when you get to this install page, you should be able to see the exact name of the app right on the top corner. So here we download the install file for mobdro. You can see on the top left hand corner it says mobdro. And you want to do the same thing. You want to highlight where it says install it. And just wait till it installs. Here we're going to do the same thing. Click on done. And that little dialog box is going to disappear after maybe like 5-6 seconds. Now we're back here to where it says, what do you want to do with the file that you just downloaded? I want to delete it and delete it because we use that file to install the program. We don't need that file anymore. And so now we got another app. So click the home button again. And you can see you're going to have to do the same thing unless you want to scroll all the way to the back. So take your remote, hold down on the home button until you see this image. And when this comes up, click on the app selection. And then when you're here, go to the app that you just installed, which is going to be at the bottom, all the way at the end. Hold down the center select button till that icon pops up, and then you can move it to the front and then tap on the select button once again. And when you get that done, you can press the home button to make sure that it's set up the right way and that your app is in the front. You can click on the select button to open the app. It's going to ask you if you agree to the end user license agreement. Click agree. And now the first thing I do when I start this app, and you don't have to do it all the time, you have to set up the app first, and then once you watch it, once you use it, it'll be set up the same way for the rest of the time. So click on hardware decoding, make sure it's enabled, go back, move over to updates, make sure that updates are enabled, hit back again, and move over to language, and then choose the language you want to use, hit back again, then move over to sorting, make sure that sorting is enabled, and hit back again, then move over to parental filter, and if you want to enable the parental filter, enable it. If you want to disable it, you can disable it. Then move over, and that's it. And once you get those done, you can use this app the right way, pretty much easier, so everything is set up for you to watch and use. Now this app, mobdro, just allows you to watch live television. So if you click on channels, you can see all the channels that are here for you to watch. And there are a lot of different channels. And then all I did was just hit back. You can highlight news. There's different news channels that you can watch. Hit back again. I'm going to go to sports. So these are all the different sports channels you can watch. And so for example, if you want to watch a channel, I'll put it on like ABC. And you'll notice that when you first click on the channel, the video is ahead of the sound. So the video is going to be frozen for about 5 seconds. There's just going to be sound playing, and the sound will catch up to the video. And once it does, it resumes playing normally. And it doesn't usually stop or freeze. I'm hitting back. And everything that you play will come up here on the top as a recent channel that you've recently watched. Same thing with news. Sometimes you'll see that screen. Let's see. So if we put on, for example, CNBC, and you'll see the video is frozen, the audio is going, audio will catch up to the video, and then it'll play normally. And there's shows that run 24/7. So there's many different shows. Let's see. So like It's Always Sunny. And this is the same thing. The video will freeze and then the audio will catch up. And that's this app. So we're gonna go back home, press the home button, and now go back down to downloader and take the cursor up to the URL, click select on the URL, click clear, and we're going to try to download another app. This is the second to last app. And this app is, let's see, oh, sorry, it's livenettv. .xyz, and hit go. It'll load the web page. Just scroll down and you can see it says download for Android. That's what we want to do. It's going to download the install file. It's going to ask you if you want to install it. Once again, highlight install, click enter, or click the center select button on your remote. And then the app is installed. This pop-up dialog appears. We can wait for that to disappear. You're gonna click on done. And then here, just delete this file. Yes, I want to delete it. And now that we've installed another app, I'm going to show you the app. Click on the home button and hold down the home button. Click on apps. Go to the last icon, the one that you just installed, livenettv. Hold down the select button till you get this pop up. Then you can move this app anywhere you want. We can put it in the front. Click home and you'll see that it's loaded in the front. We can click on it, click on the select button to start the app. And this app here, livenettv, is another app that you can use to watch live television channels. These channels, in addition to the American channels, it has many more channels in different languages. So once again, I want you to go to the top left hand corner where you see those 3 lines, and you can see I highlighted that. Click on select and go down to the settings. Where's the settings? Click on settings and we'll go through the settings. So I'm going to go down to hide categories. I'm going to hide Big Boss 11. I'm going to hide TV channels from Thailand, TV channels from Portugal, South Indian TV channels, German TV channels, Filipino TV channels, Australian TV channels, Punjabi TV channels, Afghanistan TV channels, French TV channels, TV from Bangladesh, TV from Nepal, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go down to where it says hide countries. These are countries that I don't want to, or I'm not interested in watching the video from these countries. So I'm hiding all these. International and UK is pretty much American and show and TV channels from the UK. I'm going to click OK. Going to go to video player. I'm going to select mxplayer because we installed that video player. And now we went through the different categories we want to hide, different countries we are not interested in, and the video player. And I'm going to hit the back button. Oh, the back button to go back one. It's going to reconfigure the app to show me exactly what I want. So here you can see in entertainment is showing me international or American television channels. Same thing, UK television channels. And you can see that I'm moving the cursor with, I can tell where the cursor is based on where it's highlighted in black. Click on news, I can see news channels, sports channels, movie channels, documentary, music, kids. And you can play around and see the different channels. The sports channels have a lot of sports channels. And you can see all these different channels. And let's try AMC. And when you click on a channel, there's to have multiple links. So if one link is down, you can click on another link to try. So let's try link 1 and see if that works. And it usually doesn't take this long to load a link, so I'm pretty sure this one doesn't work. Gonna hit back, click on it again, try link 2. And you can see it's already started. And so you can watch live TV, you can watch, it'll show all the TV's live broadcast with the commercials and everything. just like you're watching a subscription television channel. So now we're going to go and download one more app. So same thing, move the cursor up until you get to the URL. Click the select button on your remote. Clear the URL that's there and type in uktvnow.net and hit go. So then it brings you to the uktvnow website. Click on free download. It's going to bring you another web page. Click on download the version for the firestick, the TV/Android box. It's going to download the file. It's going to ask you again, do you want to install this application? Move the cursor to install. Hit select. Wait for it to finish installing. It's going to give you this dialog box. Just wait till that disappears, and once it disappears, make sure you've highlighted done and click on done. I'm going to show you what happens if you hit open instead. So once you hit open, it's going to directly open that file, and so now we're in the app. So now I can show you how to use this app. You know, you can highlight and click the don't show again, move over and click OK. And with this app, if you hold down this play button, or if you click on the play button, you don't need to hold it down. It's going to ask you if you want to filter all these channels by different country. So I'm going to select United States, click on search. It's going to show me all the TV channels that are within the United States. And let's say I want to watch Fox. Click the select button on your remote. It'll show you this screen, and then of course the commercial comes up. Whenever an advertisement comes up, you can always hit the back button and it'll bring you back to where you previously were within any of the apps. Now you can see that the video is already loaded, and you want to move. You can see that it's highlighted here, change player. We don't want to change the player. We like the player because it's working. You want to move the cursor to the right to full screen and hit select. And now you're watching the television channel in full screen. If you feel like this source is going slow, it's freezing, it's not working the right way, you can hit back and you can go to change source. You can see that there's two different sources here, and click select to change the source. And then again we get an advertisement, hit back. You can see the video's already started. Go to full screen and you can watch the full screen. Sometimes when you're watching network shows, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, the different sources here will correlate to different time zones, so East Coast, West Coast. And that's it. That's the app. So now, and that's how you use the app. You can use it to watch different channels again. So now we're going to hit the home button, and that app, we can't see it. It's hidden, just like all the other ones, all the way in the back. Hold down the home button, select apps. You're going to go all the way to the app you just downloaded. Hold down the select. You'll see this dialog box. You can move that app all the way to the front. Hit the select button once, and it's placed the app where you want it. Hit the home button, and now you can see that we've installed 4 apps: uktvnow, livenettv, mobdro, and terrarium TV. The video player itself, mxplayer, and the codec, I usually leave in the back here because you don't need to use it. You don't open it up to watch anything. You use these 4 apps to watch videos using those using that video player. So now that we have those 4, if you remember, we never deleted the file used to install this app here. So what you can do is go to downloader, and then that dialog is still open because the pop-up is still open within the downloader app. But for example, if you forget to delete it, or you hit done and you want to delete it, you can move the cursor all the way to where it says browser. You can choose home, but you want to go to files. So files is where all the files you've downloaded stay within your Fire Stick or Fire TV. You can move your cursor over to the file. This was apparently the file that we used to install the uktvnow app. You can click on the menu button on your remote, and it'll ask you if you want to delete it from your Fire TV stick or Fire TV. So then you can click on delete, and then that file that you used to install the application is deleted. The application itself is still on your Fire TV or Fire TV stick. So click on home, and when you scroll down, you have these 4 apps right here to use. The first 3 are for live TV, and the last one is for what they call catch-up TV, or if you missed, basically if you missed a television show and you want to watch it, you can, if you missed it, if you missed yesterday's episode, you can watch it on demand, or if you want to watch a movie, you can watch a movie on demand. All right, I hope this was helpful.